talk about.
See it.
Giving people something to talk about.
What's up? What's up, Philadelphia fans throughout the land? I know y'all tuning in. Y'all better be tuning in because this was a huge victory. It's a lot to be said about this victory. I think we're going to kind of do our Philadelphia thing, but we happy that we won. But we're going to tell them why we mad that we won and how we almost lost. But nonetheless, as they say, a win is a win. I'm about to do a Jameis Winston. I'm about to eat a W up in here because a win is a win is a win, and I take it. I take the win any day of the week. Let's talk about it. What's y'all thoughts on the win? Because y'all know me. Once I go on and on, I don't like to get cut off, and I'm feeling cut off energy today. So I'm gonna let y'all go before I do my thing, and then I come in.
I'm gonna let Wayne jump in because I don't know how much time he got.
Okay, go ahead, Wayne. He on the clock.
Well, my feelings is it was a good team win. Honestly, it was a good team win. Okay, but
I ain't me. Go ahead.
Jalen ran his heart out in the second half. Jalen. No, for real. That's not even no. They was putting mad pressure on that man.
It was a slight.
No. It wasn't no slight because I'm gonna tell you the problem I had with him, which is what I said before about his arm strength. He underthrew Miles, but I don't know if Miles would have caught it and still made it. Miles had his man beat. He had to slow down for the ball. So, but that being said, Jalen, it could have been underthrown because he was running around for his life. He was running for his life back there, and then even after that, the play even on the winning touchdown, the play he made, it was an excellent play call. The blocking was excellent. It had a wide open field. But even to get down there to score the play before the drive before that, he was doing his thing. He was taking off and he was hitting guys when they were supposed to be hit. AJ Brown stopped crying and he might actually caught the ball and not dropped it. Might not even been that tough of a. I gotta get props all around. The defense did what they did too. But real quick, the one problem I still have with this offense, I've been telling y'all all season, the offense, they go through too many quarters where they're non-productive. And this is not no slight on just the quarterback, the offense as a whole. I keep telling y'all, we go through these stretches where we don't score nothing.
Today was go ahead.
I don't think Jalen was running for his life because he had to. Sometimes to me, he took off too early. Sometimes
I can agree.
Even that long run he had great protection in the pocket. He had so much protection. He was running around there looking for a spot to run. So I really don't believe he was running for his life. The problem, like I said before, the problem with me is Jalen Hurts, if you watch him, in my belief, he only has 2 reads, maybe 3. Then he takes off. It's the progression. You can switch your face while you want to progression. Jalen Hurts. Even that deep throw to Miles Sanders, that was just Jalen Hurts was looking for run. He looking to run. He couldn't find a lane, and he actually picked up and looked down the field and seen Miles Sanders, and he threw the ball. Was it a great read? Yes. Would Miles have caught that ball? That's questionable, but I'll take the win. But I don't look at that as a slight when Wayne was like, I don't think he had to run as much as he did. I think he'll learn sometime to settle down and just stand there and look for the open player. And AJ Brown, my goodness. But the addition of the 2D tackles was huge. They made many stops.
Yep.
Sue and the other boy, I can't think of his name. Joseph, Linval Joseph, that's his name. Oh my man, that dude big till you seen? See how little his pads look on him? He's huge.
He's huge. He's a huge man. Tim, pause.
All right. I know you're a huge man, huh? All right, here's what I gotta say. Shout out. I gotta start with the defense. Shout out to the defense. I just looked at the stats. They said that the first possession, the ball, the running back, he was 7 yards, 49 yards. So I thought that's the kind of day he was gonna have. After that, he had 15 carries for 35 yards. The defense shut him down. And the number one reason, like you said, is the addition of Sue and the boy Joseph. We definitely needed them tackles. And I've been screaming that, and that's why I said we got to draft a tackle in this upcoming draft. First pick, that's what we got to do. We got to draft tackles. But now we got to get some love to the boy Jalen. And I do agree on some of the plays, he ran a little bit sooner than I would have liked. But he put that team on his back. He was playing against the refs. If y'all noticed that first possession, the refs gave us 3 penalties in a row. I never seen nothing like that a day in my life. Yes. They backed us up 10 yards, 15 yards. Like, they kept backing us up. I'm like, what's the deal? One of you can tell I was a fan of playing. I think Ephraim, you released it. You showed the video of the bull, the tight end bull, crying on the sideline. Like, I never touched him. But you got to give a shout out to Jalen, man. Jalen played this behind off, especially the fourth quarter. He scored. We needed 2 touchdowns. He scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. 1 pass and one throwing. 1 pass and 1 running. He made the plays even when not Devontae. Devontae had missed a drop that he should have caught in the first quarter. He didn't, but y'all was going back and forth. It was a good pass by Jalen. Went right through his hands. He dropped it. And then the boy AJ Brown, he fumbled the pass. Well, shout out to the Eagles and what they did.
And I agree with a lot of that. Let me start off by saying this. I try very hard not to be a conspiracy theory type bull. Even when my wife watched the games with me, she always says that the games, the mic.
Jiggle your cord a little bit.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Here we go.
Again. Pause.
I let y'all talk a little too much, and I talk your mouth. See something? How's that sound? That sound a little better?
Yeah, you better go ahead.
For some reason, I got to switch back. I don't know why this thing works. But I try not to be a conspiracy theory dude. Even my wife watched the game. She always tells me, you know, these games is rigged. That's what she says all the time when she sees calls as egregious as them first couple calls against the Eagles. I don't know if they're trying to stretch the game out. I don't know if it's a thing where they're trying to keep the game close. Some of them calls was so bad. Like, and the reason why I say it so bad, I know it's a fast moving sport and you got to make calls on the fly. But I seen baseball umpires call almost to a T, a 90+ mile-an-hour fastball consistently and almost get it right. There's no reason why that call on that tight end was so bad. I rewound it and I showed everybody on this pod. I showed them how bad that call was. Even that holding call they called earlier, I think it was the 3rd and 2 to drive before that stifled our first down was terrible. We got jobbed out of two drives in a row where it looked like he was about to score. Okay, all right, that happens. This is why my cardinal rule is to any player, especially wide receivers, if you're not getting the ball, just discuss it with your quarterback. Don't go crying. Don't go girling. Don't go slamming stuff. Don't go showing that you clearly visibly mad like AJ Brown did. He ain't go slamming stuff, but he clearly grumbling on the sideline in his feelings, and then he fumbles. This is why you don't do that. I played a lot of football in my lifetime, and I live by one cardinal rule. Don't show up the quarterback, even if he's playing like trash, which he wasn't. But even if a couple plays, because he did, it was a couple plays in AJ Brown's defense. There was a couple.
Plays. There might be 1 or 2 legend quarterbacks that don't believe that you stick with that. But go
ahead. listen. About cardinal rules, don't show up the quarterback, even if they're not playing good, because this is what anybody can make a mistake. The quarterback has more pressure on them than anybody to make plays. A wide receiver, you got pretty much one job. You run and catch the ball, 2 jobs, or however you want to break it down. But you run and catch the ball. A quarterback has to read the defense. He got to get out the way. He got to see who blitzing. He got to throw an accurate ball to you. He got to step up in the pocket. It's so many things he has to navigate. You don't do that. And that's exactly why AJ Brown played himself and fumbled that football. But he had a catch later that was pretty huge, got us some yards. But that's why you don't do that. Hopefully he learned a valuable lesson today. It was a great win. He played good.
Sanders, he does get shoestring tackled too much. I always wanted a little beefier back.
I agree with that.
But Sanders, the last couple this season, actually, Sanders to me seemed like he has been running a little harder, but he is a little undersized back to me. I would have liked the Kareem Hunt. I think they should have pulled the trigger on the Kareem Hunt.
A 1-2 combination.
Yeah, because when they need like real tough yards and stuff, you see they kind of like Boston because he keeps his legs moving and he's small. He could try to get into,
They got Trey Sermon on the roster. Just use him. God, they got
He might fumble. You can't throw nobody.
Maybe he don't know how to read a hole. Maybe he don't know how to read a hole.
Yeah, some dudes don't know how to read holes.
When he did get in, all right, go ahead, y'all.
Go ahead, Tim. But he get in what?
No. What I'm saying is the boy Trey Sermon only got in the game like 1 time, and when he was in there, he was really productive. My thing is give him a shot. Just give him a shot.
I think the thing about Miles is why you keep him in the game. at any given moment he could break it for a 50-yard run. He definitely has big playability. So you constantly look, and a couple times it looked like if he would have got that shoestring tackle, he could have had a 40 or 50-yard run today. He actually had about 3 or 4 of them that he got shoestring tackle and went down when he had the whole daylight ahead of him. But I think that's why you keep Miles in the game, because you think he can any moment break that play. But I do agree we could use a stronger back.
Y'all gonna give the D coordinator any credit today? Because y'all killed him. Y'all kill him when he don't play well. But when he calls a good game,
I don't think
when you say y'all, say to y'all you talking about. Say to y'all you talking about.
Right,
you too.
Me too. What? I was.
Danny?
No. Ho. Oh, am I blinking out?
No. I hear you. Go ahead.
No. If I recall correctly, last weekend my main thing was the defense only gave up 6 points last weekend in the second half. I wasn't blaming the defense completely. My big problem is when the offense doesn't put up points consistently, and when the offense, that's just like we came back out and we went 3 and out. Like it was too many times when the defense. It's a good thing we did get that depth on the defensive line, because the same thing would have happened this week. We went through a stretch where we got right back off the field.
That was a fumble.
Yeah, we were lost. Yes,
we fumbled the ball. We didn't.
And then we also we ain't go 3 out, but it wasn't whatever.
Go 3 and out in the second half.
Well, it wasn't a whole bunch of out. It was quick and out because the defense was right back on the field. Even after, not even with the fumble. I'm talking about the other possession.
We would have lost without Sue and.
We scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, with the first
right.
The first possession to start the second half, we went 3 and out real fast.
We got fumbled.
No, the first possession to start the second half, we went 3 and out.
We turned it over. Wasn't that the turnover? That was a turnover. The first possession was a turnover.
No, I think we went 3 and out the first possession.
First fumble.
It was a fumble. It was a turnover.
Oh, that's right. No. I'm thinking about when they punted and they put us inside the 5. When they punted and put us inside the 5, remember we went 3 and out. One of the possessions we went 3 and out real fast inside the field. One of them we got early on in the third.
Somebody got by. We went 3 and out. Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah, hey, y'all, can somebody
go fund me up there?
So
you gonna put a GoFundMe?
Yeah, but that GoFundMe for my mic, Tim.
But GoFundMe up there for the microphone.
You need a new mic.
I actually think about
a GoFundMe for Ephraim's cord.
I think it's about the computer. But here it is. We did have 1 or 2 3 and outs in that second half. But I do think that fumble, the 2 fumbles we had stifled is big time. And I think somebody asked, because Tim asked the same thing. Body had Sanders blocking what's the African bull name? Akua Waya, somehow you say his name. I don't think that play was. I don't think that play was going to last that long.
No, this is good.
I think that was going to be a quick play. But Jalen didn't see the first read, and he went to the second read, which was downfield. And by the time he went downfield, the bull was, he had strip sacked him already. I think that's what kind of happened on that play. But I don't think it's bad. Ethan was saying Jalen got 2 reads, maybe 3. I think honestly, that's what most quarterbacks have. That's what you have time for 2. If you got time for 3 reads, you're doing something special. Your offensive line doing something special. Most of the time, you have time for your first, second read, and third one if you're fortunate. So if he's reading 2 and 3 reads on every play, I'm fine with that as long as you make a good throw and make a right, smart decision.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with Jalen. He ran the machine today. Jalen did what he was supposed to do. This is what a quarterback is supposed to do with other aspects. I have no hate on him, but like I say, I and all quarterbacks do it, but I see too many times. I ain't gonna say too many times, but I see times in my opinion, Miles had him beat, and I felt the same way last week. The guy has a man beat. If he could put that pass on the money, now was Miles going to catch it or not? I don't know. But when you got a couple steps on somebody, if you drop that right in the breadbasket, that's the one they usually is going to the house because he has that speed and that step on him. So, but other than that, though, Jalen with the underneath passes, he's crisp with it. Like even like the one when Ephraim was talking about when the receiver got to catch it, it still was a tougher catch than I think you give it credit for because
it was. I agree.
I'm about to say because the defender defended it well, but it was an excellent pass though, and it should have still been caught. But Jalen on the intermediate game and everything like that, he putting it on the money. He making the big run plays, everything else. Like you can't hate on how he's producing. But we'll see because teams gonna start doing this. Teams is gonna start playing overplay. Teams are gonna start overplaying all that underneath stuff, and they're gonna make it where though you have to beat them over the top. And that's when the Eagles he's going to have to make the passes, and those receivers are going to have to make those catches.
Yo, why can't we why don't we go under center?
Hey, Herb, you going to send me a mic? Herb said you going to send me a mic.
Thanks, Herb. You need it.
Go ahead, Ethan. What you say? How my mic sound? It sound all right now?
Nope.
No, it's still choppy.
Oh God.
When we go into center, we don't go into center enough to me. We don't mix it up. I hate it's too much shotgun going on. Mix it up a little bit. It's a lot you can still do under center. You can still bootleg, play action.
I gotta blow into it like it's a Nintendo, like a Super Nintendo cartridge. Is that better? Nintendo 64. Is that better? Did my mic sound right?
A little bit.
All right. Well, as Ethan, as far as going to center, I agree with you, but I think them playing shotgun is to Jalen Hurts. Maybe not to the all-around teams, maybe not to their benefit, but I think it's more to Jalen Hurts' benefit. I think he's more comfortable at the shotgun. I think that's why he do that. He playing with filters in the background. Yeah. But ultimately, in AJ Brown's defense, this is my problem with Jalen, though. When you got a bull like AJ Brown, you got to give him the ball more. AJ Brown is open. We talked about this early in the season, and it's been the same thing throughout. AJ Brown gets open. It was a couple plays that AJ Brown was streaking wide open across the field, and Jalen didn't get it to him. I don't like that. You need to always AJ Brown, for the most part, should be your first read. He should be your first option. If you're not, you already got a problem. I know he was feeding Smith today. Smith was making some catches. I'm cool with that. But you need to make sure AJ Brown, for the most part of the game, is your first read. He a monster, bro. He catch it for the most part. He ain't fumbling. He catching the ball. Today was kind of out of the norm for him. I think it was just it kind of the as they said, a karma came back and got him because he was girling too much. But you got to keep him in the game. You got to keep him in the game. He's brought him in here for a reason.
Hopefully, karma humbly.
All right, can I talk about some of the things that I didn't like personally in the game? I wrote them down. One, I questioned the second quarter, 3rd and 2, called a game well. That running play, I thought that was real suspect. I didn't think that was a good play call at all. I mean, we was in a dire situation right there. The 3rd quarter, as time was expiring, we decided not to run a play down by 10. Now we won the game, but I thought we could have used that possession. It was only like 2 or 3 more seconds that we would have had. But for the Eagles to be like, you know what, we just gonna try to get them off sides, and then we just gonna start in the 4th quarter. Kind of question that a little bit. Props to Brandon Graham. He always seemed to make a play at the end of the game.
Hold up, Tim. Before you say that, I want to address this. Listen, Brandon, you trying to do what are my Hurts criticisms? I have one criticism of Hurts. One criticism I have of Hurts is I just don't like I don't trust his arm strength. That's my biggest criticism of him. I just said he led the team. I just said he led the team. I said he's been directing the team.
Undercover hate. You hate
how is it under? Listen to what I'm saying and take my word for.
Listen to what he's saying, Tim.
Just listen to what I'm saying. I just, even from the beginning of the last year, his first game of the year, I've been saying my biggest problem with him was his arm. I think that I think he does a good job. I think he works hard. I think he reads defense. I've never said that he can't read defenses. I'm not the one that says that he takes off and runs too early. I don't say that. Where I said that. So you keep talking about all these criticisms. I've had one criticism, and I've also said that the bull does what he needs to do to win right now. I just said him running around. Is that a slight saying that he took off and ran? He did. He balled out. He did what he was. I was mad when Donovan didn't do that because Donovan wanted to be the passing quarterback and he didn't use his legs like he should have. So I'm not mad at Hurts for that. But just because I want to sit there and say a pass that I felt was underthrown, that if you lead that receiver in that position or running back in that case, it enables them to make the catch and take it all the way. That's my knock.
That play was nowhere. That wasn't for him. That was a scramble play, and he just happened to throw it and they got the pass interference. But you'd be like, on that play,
so if he would have let him deeper, would it have been?
It was a scramble.
Take it to the house.
It was a scramble. He was fighting for his life.
If it wasn't underthrown,
we got a pass interference on the play.
Yes, yeah, I do think
the same way you say I hate, but you want to make excuses for.
No, see, I think this where people pick up on Wayne hate because Wayne nitpicks stuff that I think most people normally accept as just a football play. That stuff normally happens in the game. Like we argue, y'all don't understand. We argued that Quez Watkins play from last week for a whole day when Wayne was saying how badly the poor throw, the reason why Quez.
First of all, I didn't say it was badly in the poor throw. I said it wasn't. Tim said it was a great pass. I said it was not a great pass.
It was a great pass.
It was a great pass.
It wasn't. And by the way,
it drew him toward the middle. Okay.
I wasn't here last week. It was a great pass. Quez actually fell for no reason. That play was going to the house if Quez didn't fall on the ground. Quez fell. And the reason why Quez fumbled because he had to get back up, and then the defense was on top of him. So it didn't lead him to the defense and none of that. But it's stuff like that when Wayne says the reason why people pick up on the little bit of hate that he's throwing.
A lot of hate.
It's trickled in there. It's a sprinkling of maybe more than a sprinkling that goes into a hate.
It's like Tim and
B. Yes, like Tim and B. Yes, he be salty happy when we win.
That's my man.
Okay. Wayne said the same thing about Jalen. But I'm just happy we got a win, man. I'm glad we got them 2 tackles. Sue actually played really well. I was impressed with how good Sue played when he was in the game. I thought he played well. I know Ethan mentioned him before he picked him up. I didn't even know he was on the wire. That was a good call. And sure enough, he came to ball. Him and Joseph, they came to do their thing, and I'm glad we got him.
9-1 look good right now.
Excuse me.
We just gotta it's just crazy because everybody keeps saying
Herb, that was him.
We gotta root for Cowboys tonight. We gotta root for Cowboys to beat the Vikings. And that's like
now it don't matter. I mean, either way we win though, in that situation, whoever wins this game, because now if the Vikings lose, they won't be tied with us, and the Cowboys win, they still behind us anyway. So
I know, but I want that home field advantage throughout.
So you rooting for the Cowboys to win then?
I got to root for young Dak.
Who they play?
They Vikings.
Nah, they're in the division. If something happened, I don't want them trying to catch us. Just if we trip up or something. Nah.
It is a win-win. I think bad for me. It's a win-win. There's still a lot of games left. So, like Ethan said, anything can happen where Dallas can even take the division. Hopefully, it don't get that bad. But it's a win-win for me. Whoever wins this game, the other team loses, and we still win in some way, shape, or form. So I'm kind of glad that this is unfolding like this, and I'm glad that we won, so I don't necessarily have to root for Dallas so we stay in the lead. So
I'm rooting for Dallas. But Ephraim, who gets your game ball today?
I give it to the 2 new dudes. I give it to Sue and Joseph, and I also give one to I give my other game ball to Jalen. I think he in the quarter he played big. He did what he had to do. He some plays wasn't there to throw. And he ultimately ran a touchdown in. And even when he could pass, he passed that touchdown pass to Quez was beautiful. That was a beautiful pass to Quez in the front of the end zone. I mean,
Wayne was reading the chat. He had to come back on.
No, I wasn't reading. No, I wasn't reading the chat. I got knocked offline. My phone overheated. I had too many apps open.
So I give one to Sue. I give one to Sue and Joseph, and the other game ball I get and I give a slight game ball to Gannon because the one thing I will say, he didn't do it often, but he did blitz late on that last drive. He threw a blitz in there, and that got Matt Ryan a little skittish, and then we was able to get a sack in there too. So I give him a half of a game ball. I'm not completely still sold on Gannon yet.
Wayne, who gets
we giving out game balls?
Yeah, who gets your game
ball? Me?
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Yeah, shut up. Exactly. This is my thing. Just because I critique,
Wayne tired of getting ripped to the comment section. Y'all forced him to give him a game ball. Thank y'all.
No, how? See, first of all, y'all being fraudulent with it because y'all already know when we was in there, I was sitting there saying how Jalen putting it on his back right now. Jalen doing everything. Jalen running his heart out. Jalen doing what he got to do. Jalen giving his all. That's exactly what I was saying this whole time in our chat. So my whole point is just because I'm saying I have just because I have a preference on like his because I still feel how I feel about his arm strength, but he make it work. I felt the same way about Nick Foles. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. So you know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about him. But that being said, I don't root against him. I want my team to win. But y'all got to chill with it. If somebody want to critique him, anybody else on the team, I critique everybody. So just because y'all know he wasn't my first choice as a quarterback, don't mean that I'm sitting here and I'm hoping that he lose.
All right, my
I
game
mean,
ball.
But yes, I think he carried in the second half after the fumble. I think he buckled. He did everything he needed to do to get the Eagles in position to win.
he pulled together. I agree.
My game ball goes to Joseph and Sue. These dudes, Joseph had 4 tackles, half sack. Sue had 3 tackles, half sack. These dudes to come up off the street.
Off the streets. They ain't played in 15 months.
And to come in here and contribute like they did. Without them, we'd have lost. I'm sorry. Without them, we would have lost the game.
I agree with that. I think so too.
I
agree.
definitely got to give game ball to both of them.
All right. Even though Ephraim gave a game ball to everybody on the roster, but
No, I did not. I gave out 3 game balls. I gave out 2.5 balls. Pause. I gave one. I gave one to Sue. I gave one to Sue and Joseph. I gave one to Hurts. I gave a half a game ball to the D coordinator. That's it. That's
I only
it.
gave out 1 game ball. They got split it.
all right, here's my game ball goes to it's gonna go to Jalen.
We already know.
That's so predictable, though, mate. You brought up the whole topic so you could give it to Jalen.
Yeah.
No, the reason why, because Jalen Hurts, that fourth quarter was special. That
You had the game ball for Hurts before the game even started.
Like, your game ball.
Your game ball. Now go ahead and play. Go ahead and stake it up. No, go ahead.
I get my charger. I'll be right back.
All right.
I didn't see Robert Quinn didn't record a stat.
What SNS Sexy Scenarios, he said that he can't root for the Cowboys no matter what the circumstance. I can't agree with that because you got to remember your enemy of your enemy is your friend. Sometimes your enemy may be your enemy. He may be your friend because he's playing and he's doing something in your favor. So you can't always say I can't root for the Cowboys because if let's say we did lose and we definitely need the Vikings to lose, I got to root for the Cowboys because I want the home field throughout. Because at that point, right at that moment, that's more important for the Vikings to lose that game. But fortunately, we don't have to make that decision. So, like I said, it's a win-win no matter what happened. So I don't have to particularly root for nobody. But sometimes you got to.
Let me ask you, how do you root? Do you sit there? See, I can't watch the game and root for the Cowboys. I'll be like, you know what? I hope they win, and I'll check the score.
Yeah, like that. That's more of it to me.
Okay, but me sitting there rooting for the Cowboys, I can't see me doing that. I can't see me doing that.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm not Tim. Not Tim. On the other hand, he loves Dak Prescott, and I think Ezekiel Elliott. So he will have the poms out and the little Dallas hat and shirt he got. I couldn't go that far. I just root for him on the subconscious tip, wanting them to win the game. But now I have to make that choice. Like I said, whoever wins, I could watch this game and just be like, "Oh, good play, bad play." Whoever win this game, I'm good. It'll put us.
I can enjoy football now.
The reason why it's easy for me to root for the Cowboys because if they win, we still could get the chance to take care of them on Christmas Eve when we play them for the last time coming up.
Brody, I agree. I do agree with you a little bit. Go ahead, Tim.
So that's what I'm saying. We still got the Cowboys on our roster. So as long as we take care of business, we good. So we need them to just handle the Vikings. But they need to lost. They only lost 1 game.
I do agree with that. I think the NFL must have first saw that we was going to be pretty good because we've been playing primetime games a lot. We got another one. Up. Huh?
Can't they?
That's late in the season. I think this one, Green Bay was already scheduled though, because we got Green Bay. I think it's Sunday night this coming week on a late night tip. But I mean, just deserved best team in football right now. I mean, we ain't too much look like it the past 2 games, but I do think that I honestly. Y'all can call me whatever conspiracy theory. I think it was the first 2 or the second and third drive that we had. Them referees was purposely killing our drives, man. I don't care what nobody say. Them calls was some of the most egregious calls I've ever seen, and they wasn't near the play per se. Like that AJ Brown one, he cut across the middle of the field. The dude 80 that got called for the penalty was all the way on the right side of the field. I said, yo, what kind of call? And it wasn't even his man. It wasn't like he said what they could have said that he said a pick on AJ Brown, man. It wasn't even his man. It was a terrible, terrible play call, man. I mean, the terrible flag. I thought it was terrible. It seemed suspect to me, but nonetheless, we got the victory, so I can't be too mad. But I do think those were drive-killing plays. I honestly think we could have got something out of those plays, and I don't think this score is really indicative of the team that we are, because then we also had the 2 turnovers, the A.J. Brown fumble and the Jalen Hurts fumble. But I still think we're a good team offensively.
They was momentum killers, but they knew we was going to blow the doors off of them today, and they was killing us. I mean, I've never seen three penalties in a row on one team. That was just egregious.
That was crazy. You're right, bro. I forgot about that. That was kind of early in the season. I think that was like week 2. I think, wasn't it, when the Colts beat the Chiefs? That was like week 2 or 3. That was very early in the season. But I mean, it's still a good victory. You're right about that, though. Colts not a terrible team. They're not trash. But I do think if it wasn't for a couple of them penalties early and them turnovers, I think we could have laid a little smackdown on them a little bit. Maybe like a 27-17 or something like that type game. But 17, what we get was 17-16. I think the score was.
16, yeah.
I think Wentz is looking to have a Matt Ryan-like career.
Yeah, he is. He is. That's what. I mean, if he even get that far, he might not ever play for Washington again. The way was it Heineke? How you said? Yeah. He might not ever play for Washington again.
Heineke is trash. He ain't do nothing. He got all hype off of a pass interference, roughing the passer penalty last week.
No, I agree, but look what Wentz been doing lately. Wentz ain't been doing nothing in Washington. That game before, I think we had 8 points or something. The game before Heineke played or something.
Yeah, but he's hurt. He is hurt. I think he's just coming back.
Well, I mean, listen. You know me. I was the biggest Wentz fan. I had Wentz with a huge upside. He disappointed me big time. I honestly think, just to touch on that real quick, that his injury was his undoing. I don't think he was never the same. He kind of reminded me of RG3 a little bit. After RG3 got hurt, he was never the same player. Same thing with Wentz. I do think they gave up on RG3 a little early, but I think the same thing kind of happened with Wentz. After he got injured, I don't think he was ever the same player again.
I just think, I'll be honest with you, I don't think he ever was that good. And the fact that he's not likable in the locker room, you got to have players that want to play for you. Remember how the boy Jeffrey, he never liked him. He kept kind of exposing, like, yo, this boy's a fraud. Y'all see that video I sent out where Darren Sproles did an interview, I think, earlier this week?
I didn't watch it.
I ain't see it yet. What happened?
Yeah, so Daniel Sproles, what's his first name again? I forget.
Yeah, I think talking about Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles did an interview this week. Did an interview with the lady. The lady was like, it's so much. She was trying to get him to hate on Wentz, and he was trying not to feel so bad. But he kept saying, he said, we heard that you had to really talk to him during the Super Bowl run because he was hoping and mad that Foles was getting off. And he was like, he had to check in the locker room because they was both rehabbing injuries at the same time. Like, you got to get on board. You got to stop all this hate. He was hating on the team as the team was making their run. Whereas, remember when Hurts got pulled in the middle of a championship game and he rooted and celebrated?
Tim hears what he wants to hear. You got to watch the video. First, he says she was trying to get Darren Sproles to hate him, but he wouldn't do it. That's what you said first. So,
watch the video. Watch the video.
Because I can't listen to
watch the video because initially he said I had to talk to him, but she wanted him to go deeper. And then he wasn't trying to like put too many knives in, but he did say he had to check him. He had to check him.
I mean, listen, let's be clear about this. These dudes are competitive. You've been the number one dude your whole life, since Pop Warner, through high school, through college, then the NFL. You was drafted high to be that dude. It's hard to relinquish that. I don't want to do. I mean, and you talked about this before. When did he happily relinquish that?
When he was in the middle of the championship run. When
he was happy about it.
He wasn't happy, but he supported his.
No, he didn't. He left and went to another college. After so he didn't support it. He left and went somewhere else to start.
He went and waited the year and won them a game
because he couldn't leave during the middle.
No, I'm talking about he
was supportive. He would have stayed there behind him and worked as his backup.
He did stay there. That's what I'm talking about. He stayed there another year.
No, he left.
After he got benched in the title game, he stayed there for 1 full year. After that full year, he left. That's when he left.
Because you can't you got to be able to transfer like that in college.
He could have transferred.
He would have transferred immediately if he could.
Yes, he could. He could have transferred.
I don't know if you. I think even right. I don't think you could transfer immediately.
He was able to transfer.
I mean, listen. I didn't watch him that close to say whether he was sulking or whether he wasn't. Listen, it's hard. It's hard to compartmentalize that. I'm not mad at him for being mad because you want your number one player to be competitive enough to say, I want to get in the game. You don't want him hating behind the scenes. I don't know to what extent he was doing that or if he was just sulking. He might have just been kind of sulking like, I worked this hard to get here. I put in position to get here. I want to finish the job I started. That's your baby, if you will. Your team, as a quarterback, you're the leader. You feel that's your team. That's your baby. You want to be there to finish what you started. So it will be a little bit of mental blow to you to have to kind of put yourself back together a little bit because you're not that dude no more. That's tough. I'm not hating on Wentz for feeling like that. Now, I mean, was he that bad from the rip? I don't think so. He had an MVP type caliber year. If he would have played the whole thing, there's a very strong possibility he'd have won. But he didn't. So, you move on to his career. I mean, I always kind of wished him the best and watched for him, watched him and kind of rooted for him. But he just ain't looking too good no more. Like I said, I think the injury was his undoing in my opinion. But
okay.
But
all right, y'all. This is a good pod. We appreciate it. Y'all got any final thoughts before we roll out? Okay, good.
No, listen, Jalen needs to get the AJ Brown. AJ had 6 catches today. He should have had 10. You got to get your studs, your PTP players. You got to get them catches. You got to keep them involved in the game. Granted, like I said, AJ Brown should have been doing all the extra sulking and all that kind of stuff like that. But you brought him here for a reason. Get him that ball. He's one of them dudes. Unlike Devontae Smith is a good wide receiver, but he cannot get yak yards like Brown. Brown can get that ball and run through somebody and get you yards down the field. When you throw a 5-yard pass, he can get you 20. That's why you need to keep him active in that game. That's the one thing I think they need to make sure that he is involved more in the offense. Our offense put up way more points when you see him actively involved in the offense. Keep giving him that ball. That's my final say on him, man. A great win.
Great win. 17-16 comeback victory. Eagles. Young Jalen Hurts did it. He did his thing, and the defense, they also shine.
All right, great win.
All right, y'all. We out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, listen. We catch y'all on our next podcast. We out.
All right, peace.